2015, 7 o'clock. Pledge allegiance and a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. We need to look at approving the minutes for 10-7 and 10-12.
I'll make that motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion second. Comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Visitors. I think at this point we're going to take care of the issue with approving the new staff. Put it that way. Operators. Just let me say this before we do that. We had 3 respondents. One was his resume was very good for what he does. He was not certified in any wastewater or groundwater. So we eliminated him right away. The other 2, I'm going to let Elmer take over from here.
Yeah, we had 2 applicants, and we had 2 separate meetings with them, with Jim and I and our staff, Sam and Ed. And we wanted to make sure that each of the applicants understood exactly what our 2 folks do on a day-to-day basis. So we went over that with them, and each one of them submitted a revised submittal proposal. And after reviewing those proposals, Jim and I are going to make a recommendation to the authority tonight to hire FOAM Incorporated to handle our operations for the 2 sewage plants and the water supply. We're making that recommendation based on the fact that these folks have the necessary required certifications and they have the best price. So anybody have any questions?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the floor to hire Mr. Massey and Company as our new operating company. We have a second.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
What is the price?
You got the price handy there? If you don't, oh, I do. Do you want to know what the price was? Their annual fee, I'm quoting here out of the contract. The annual fee to perform these services is $44,196. Charges for retainer services shall be billed monthly at $3,683.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was substantially less than the other.
Don't tell them that.
Thank you.
So,
Can we resubmit before you vote?
no, you've already done it twice, okay?
Darn it.
Yeah.
May I ask for the minutes and for my own records, what does FOAM stand for?
Phone.
That's what I thought.
Facility Operation and Maintenance Incorporated is our acronym. We get lots of chuckles out of phone. It's really not a good acronym for what we do. We really don't want a lot of phone.
You are incorporated.
We are.
Good.
Let's see, we got a second one for it. Any further discussion? If not, we're up for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So be it. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Before you go off of this, what's their start date?
Start date.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, that depends on you two.
Yeah. I would like to say, maybe I was thinking about this after you and I talked yesterday. If you and Sam could, and I know you guys have been to the plants and so on and so forth, maybe occasionally, work with them a little bit. I know that you're retiring, and I congratulate you, both of you, for that. But
In actuality, to answer that question, Jim, I had already discussed with these fellows that if they got the job, I'd go with them a day or two, or they'd go with me a day or two. I don't care how you want to look at it. Because I'm just as soon turn it over to them immediately, but then go along, because there's a lot of little details. And then this is going to be a friendly thing. So they're going to have my cell phone for ever.
Ever?
Yeah.
no,
So that's not going to be a problem.
okay, that's good. I think one other thing is, I think we're going to have to buy some test equipment. Is that correct?
We can walk in and accommodate what's required. We always like to see, especially a government purchaser, and have their own. Most do. We would certainly probably recommend that. We typically come in and once we get in and look the system over, we're going to put together a report to tell you what we see, what we would recommend.
Okay.
This is not a report card on Ed.
No.
We do this no matter
Okay.
where we go.
First thing we do when we go in is we do an inventory of what's there. And then usually we have an initial inspection report, and we would outline near-term, medium-term, long-term things to consider to flesh things out, whatever we may see. And those sorts of things may be in there. However, that said, we have all the equipment necessary to begin policies immediately.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah, I knew that they weren't going to need anything immediately. They were coming with their own stuff for a while, and you guys would decide what happens down the road.
Great. You guys are welcome to stay if you want.
Well, no, I want to know when they're interested in starting.
Well, we discuss them with our other clients, in the load with those folks, that we would like to begin Monday, if that's okay, with you especially, Ed.
That's fine.
And come up and meet with you and begin Monday and plan on being there. We typically, when we come in and we stay. I mean,
Most often, not to interrupt, most often when we take a project over, we parachute right into the middle of it. However, you've got a lot going on here. You have a number of facilities, and the transition, being able to spend some quality time with Ed, at least a couple days, we would have either 2 or 3 of us here, probably 2 of us at a minimum, because we're going to have to juggle other things. But yeah, we would like to spend time with Ed. We would literally travel with Ed for a day or 2, and we would probably ask him, what about this, what about that, what are we doing, to learn all the intricacies and the intimacies and the in and out details of what goes on day to day. It's one thing to say I've got a plant, and it's one thing to know how to run a plant. It's another thing to really understand how these facilities work day to day. And that'll be important. We would want to start as soon as possible. Probably the most reasonable, effective day would be Monday.
And we will be spending quite a few hours there in the first several weeks. That's cost is
Yeah, you
already
will.
built in, we're not gonna send you a bill for that, that's what we do. We get familiar, we make things suit us, if you will. I mean, it's gotta suit him when he's doing it, when we're doing it, it's gonna have to suit the way we work. We'll move things around and do things.
Okay.
And Ed's already said that he got behind, and that's understandable. We have the places we've gotten behind, or we've taken over places that were behind. That's not a big deal. We come in, we like to eat them up and do them the way we work. And like Jim said, the report will let you all know what you have. Even though Ed knows and you trust Ed, and that's understandable. But we have to build that relationship up. And we're going to show you what you have in writing. And those recommendations of what we would think you may need.
Also, too, it provides a baseline, a starting point, so that you can meet or measure things through time. You know, you start with a laundry list of things that maybe you want to consider in the near term, and things that you want to consider farther down the road, and things that would be much farther down the road. That could be a year, 2, 3 years out. So it provides both parties with a good starting point.
Works for me.
They're picking up some sand stuff too, according to our meeting,
Right.
and what they agreed to. That Sam should be on board some of the, I don't know what he plans on doing and when he plans on doing it. It's his call, but if he could be on board a couple of days next week, maybe to go with us, or go, I don't know how you want to work that, how these guys want to work it. But maybe we do a day or two with just us, you and I, and then we do another day.
However you want to do it, we want
What do
to
you
pick
think
your
about it?
brain, and we want to.
I can do it any way you want to do it. My phone number's available, they have it, or they can have it.
Yeah.
And you get a wrong call.
I mean, I can show them a few things, but I think really you ought to show them the routine you use,
I ain't showing how to people.
Another thing that would be important from our perspective, and I'm sure from your perspective, is for the authority to provide us with a list of contact information, who, how, what.
Sure. We can do that.
And then there is one other thing, and it would be a copy of this thing.
What?
Copy of the signed proposal.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna
And unless you,
Do I sign it, or should Penn come in and sign it?
The assistant chairman can sign it, I forget who it is.
That's me.
Okay.
unless you want to, reevaluate the price.
I think we're good.
Work
I think
that
we're
out.
good.
We did not mind doing it a third time, really.
Yeah, Lou, I would just stop.
Stop, okay.
the change of responsible operator, Monday. Okay, the authority will have to, I will notify DEP I'm no longer the operator. And then you will need to go online, Carolyn, or you will need to go online, fill out a change of operator form. It can be done online from the department. What you'll need is license numbers from water fellow, and from you guys, so who's going to be,
There's one other thing along the same lines, and that is typically we submit the DMRs for our clients. We prepare them, we submit them, make sure they have copies of them, there's copies on file. But what we do request is that the authority or the client sign an authorization form, which we keep on file, and copy DEP that says, we have been authorized to file these documents on your behalf. That's all. It doesn't change anybody's responsibility. It simply says that we are authorized by the authority to submit the documents on your behalf.
Do you have that document so we can find it?
We don't have it with us, but we can
If
certainly.
you do have one, you
email
can
it.
provide it with.
Can email it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'd email it tonight, but I can just fall asleep when I get home.
What we'll do is I'll complete October's. I'll give you the information, obviously the information will already be there from the first 5 or 7 days of November. And then you guys will take care of that. I'll submit to do all of the drinking water for October, which has got to be done before the 10th or before the 11th. And the DMRs for October for Cove and King Cora. And then the copies will come in for the plants. So you'll have those copies, all the copies of the DMRs and the lab results are already in the plants. And then the authority keeps a copy of just the DMR up here, but not the lab reports. They do keep all the drinking water lab reports here. So that'll be all right. You'll take over for reporting November's numbers. I'll report October since obviously you weren't involved at that point. Okay.
Now, I have a question with this, with some of the responsibilities that are moving. Like last night, we had an issue with the grinder pump going on alarm. I texted Sam this morning. And where is that gonna fall?
Anybody that calls the office, we've been calling Jody right away. I mean, that was our instructions. A number of months ago, we had it, where they took their names off of the telephone answering machine and put Lenkers on, except it's Jody's doing it now. So anytime I get a call, I just call Jody.
Because I was gonna say, is there somebody in the office each day though?
Well, but it's on the answering machine. That's the first thing they hear. If you're having a problem with your grinder pump, call Jody Hoffman at blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay?
That's my concern for, just for anybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dennis, do we need a motion to have those documents signed?
I think it would be prudent, motion to approve the agreement and authorize the officers to execute it.
That's my motion, as Dennis said, as stated.
Second? Second.
Okay, hold on, because the room, I didn't get my hearing aids till next week, and the room is very fuzzy. So I know that is this the form that they're going to submit the DMRs on our behalf?
No,
Or are you referring to the DEP forms that?
No, this is the agreement.
The agreement.
The agreement,
Right.
okay.
Okay.
And you can include the DMR forms too, the permission to submit them on our behalf.
And what they will be doing, Susan, is they will be giving you their operators' numbers to fill out, and have Karen fill out the online form for responsible operator of drinking water and sewage treatment plants.
Yeah, and I'll need their EIN and all that. We'll get that from them.
Okay, we got a motion to double. You're gonna add that to, okay. Any further discussion on that motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So be it. Okay.
Why don't you let me know what time Monday you're going to be able to work it out, because you guys are having a more complicated schedule. And I'll be able to move mine around too.
There'll be two of us.
I would, yeah.
There'll be two of us.
Okay. But you know what I mean?
I think
Instead of saying, let's meet at 8 o'clock, I'm gonna say sometime over the weekend or whatever it is that you meet, you call me and say, we'd like to do it at 2 in the afternoon, not before 8 in the morning.
Is there a good time to go for it?
No.
Not before 8.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Because, man, I don't like to rush around there. That's part of the reason to even
Thought it was in here. Anything else for these gentlemen?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we'll work out some stuff and report back to you guys. I'm gonna need to come to at least one more meeting to do the October DMRs, in case there's questions on those. So I'm gonna have to come to the November, or the December meeting.
You're welcome to come to all of them, Ed, if you
Yeah.
want to.
Oh, I probably will for a while, because there's going to be things they want, whatever.
Right. Okay. Anything else, gentlemen?
No, except I'd like to thank you all very much for this opportunity, and hopefully we won't let you down. Well, I don't think we will.
You've been very upfront with us, in our meetings, and you've been, you've been in contact with Ed.
We're very pleased with the opportunity to give this a shot for you.
Well,
We think we'll make you very happy.
well, we're looking forward to it.
Okay, I know we got someone here, we gotta work hard to be better than them. Sorry, Ed, we're gonna try to be better.
Like I told you, sure hope so.
I'm sure you did a fine job, Ed. No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lou, you want this?
Jim, there you go. Secretary.
Okay. And where are we here?
I will have Karen send a letter to the other company,
Yes,
thanking them for their interest, but
that would be good. And also to the other gentleman.
Smith.
Mr. Smith,
Yeah.
what about him for the operator position? Or not the operator, but Sam's job?
Well, they're covering pretty much everything Sam's.
Oh, they are
done.
going to?
Yeah.
Helen's very concerned about the PA1 calls. She was down in the office today, asking me about it.
All right, here's what her concern is. I was doing them for the township as well.
Well, she said she said, I can get the highway department to do it, or I can even go out and do that myself. But she was concerned about,
That's her concern right now. She's gonna pick up the Penn Twp, the drain culverts and stuff, I was marking all of those things. Well, for one reason, I was out there, I was actually on the road crew whenever I first started it, so I knew where the culverts were. And I know, pretty much knew where everything else is, so I just go ahead and went ahead and marked everything.
But that's technically a township.
That portion is technically a township. The only thing we have to worry about marking is the low pressure sewer, our gravity sewers, and the electric to the grinder pumps, and our water lines. Laterals excluded. Laterals belong on property. All we're concerned with is mains.
Right.
Then the only reason I mark the electric is because I don't want to see somebody get hurt. That's actually belongs to people too.
Well, then,
There are going to be times that these guys are not covering stuff. Remember, they're pretty far away.
yeah.
So you have an outage or something needs taken care of right away, you're going to have to maybe need some coverage or have somebody be able to go out and take a look at something. We're not saying, I don't want to be on call, Sam doesn't want to be on call, that's part of the reason we're leaving. But I'm not saying that I wouldn't answer a question, I just don't want to have to go out and deal with dirty water and grinder pumps or anything else, So some of the stuff these guys did not, they said no to when we were talking with them.
Right.
Because they were too far away.
And I sat down and did a comparison between both companies.
I'm sure you did.
And they're 99% identical.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 out of the maybe 20 some that they're a little bit different, but they're, whichever company we'd have picked, we'd have had the same situation.
Yeah.
Because right down the line, these guys.
Well, we had 2 meetings with them, so we got them, when we had questions, we brought them back in and we cleared up the questions. So, whatever we can do.
What we've been so used to Ed and Sam being there, and we're just gonna have to work like other municipalities, I guess. Okay, let's move on. Engineers report.
Okay, does everybody have a copy of my November 4th report? Everybody? Okay. Well, the main items on here, starting with Sunshine Hills Water System on October 8th.
Here's a signed copy for your record.
Okay, thanks.
2015, the DEP had revised and reissued the consent order and agreement for compliance of the operation of well number 2. The authority must comply with those consent order for necessary corrective actions that are detailed in the revised consent order and agreement. They're on page 4 of the revised. I just advise everybody to just take a look at those. I got an email from Dennis, what was it, yesterday, that actually DEP had received the consigned consent order from you guys on October 30th. Is that when they would have signed it to Dennis, or when that?
I don't know, that's when they signed the return receipt
Okay.
for it.
So we have essentially 30 days to, in a lot of these items, to respond. The items of note here that I looked at was item E. You need to provide a calibrated flow meter for well number 2. Whether we would calibrate it or I guess maybe replace it and make sure that that was accurate. That's one of the items that needs to be addressed within 30 days.
It wouldn't be in the packet because I don't know that we have one.
What's that?
Revised consent order.
Oh, yeah. I got this off the email, and I know I think it was sent to you guys. Do you not have a copy of this? Well, you had to because you signed it, right? Or
Yeah, at one point.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I thought we signed something that Sam brought back, though. I don't know about the revised
Okay.
one, but
I can just.
that's fine.
Go ahead, go here then.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Okay. And then item F, then it talks about the installation of a flow restrictor, which was part of the original consent order. And then we need to do a revised, provide them with revised information on the 4-log piping. But there's a whole list of things here, items A through K. And one of the items, how it was worded, kind of concerned me was B, is it says immediately upon execution of the consent order and agreement, Penn Township shall perform all construction and or modifications to their public water system as detailed in their approved construction permit. Well, I didn't, but then they're talking in previously to any further substantial modifications. So I think that's if you do any additional modifications as per the permit. So, okay.
Sure. Maybe it is good.
All right, so we need to look at taking care of these, I guess, the meter, the flow restrictor, and then that's pretty much on your plate because, you would need to probably contact whoever. No? Well, not
You
you.
guys are going to do it. And you guys will also have to address the last inspection by DEP in March. Number of comments in there. I didn't take care of them because I thought it was going to go away.
Right, exactly. Well, what I'm saying is now after this, we have to take. So we either get probably the meter calibrated or we'll need to get it replaced.
Do you need me to contact Susquehanna Sprinklers and see if they calibrate those water meters?
Whoever.
Is that who
Is
you?
that who you use?
I use them for the backflow preventer up at the Petersburg Commons water pit.
No, maybe they do it.
I don't know.
Okay. Is that
So
who?
you're going to contact
I'll
someone?
contact them
All right.
Would TriStar do it?
to see if they.
No, this.
I don't think. I think TriStar is more electronic.
Yeah, this is a census meter, isn't it, Ed?
Yeah.
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 And what I'm saying is, at the March inspection,
Yeah.
there was a number of things of connecting a bypass pipe that was broken, issues with the well house down at number 2. Those all have to be addressed. I didn't address any of them.
Yeah,
Because I thought they were gonna go away with the rebuild.
exactly, that's,
So you need to follow up with these guys and, or anybody else that's coming in to do it. When it's my turn to talk, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do about the fact that I don't have those things done. Okay, go ahead.
well, that, and then the other thing is putting a flow restrictor in that line to regulate the flow through to 70 gallons a minute. Now, somebody like Eichelberger's probably could do something like that.
So my suggestion was to, and if it's possible, is to do that down at the well.
Yeah,
Because there's new piping down there. Instead of
right.
working with the equipment up at the top of the hill where the pipes are so bad.
But we'll need to take care of those items, I think, pretty quickly. And then the other thing would then be the 4-log information that we need to regenerate to substantiate the modifications to the system. So as far as Eichelberger, Sam, you said you would talk to Susquehanna. Do you want me to call Eichelberger's, or do you want to do that in-house too?
Go, Michael.
Okay.
A bit of information for the authority. The fellow holding the license to operate the water company, these fellows are going to do the work, but there's another guy who has a license that you haven't met.
Right.
Okay, that's kosher to have him hold the license. These fellows work under his guidance. He works for Culligan, if I'm not mistaken.
Kevin Shanahan?
I think so.
He's a former Eichelberger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The division of Eichelberger's.
Well, they
that
sold.
He was in was sold to Culligan, I think.
Yeah,
He
it was.
might be the resource for some of these things. So you could ask these fellows to ask him whether his company does this, that, or the other thing. I don't know. I'm just letting you know that it maybe it's a resource for some of the modifications, or I don't know how big Culligan gets into. Obviously, if he's holding a water operator's license, there's more than just water softeners. Okay.
So, okay. Just so you know, we're going to need to do this, and that's all going to be contingent upon that date whenever it's determined. We have like 30 days, a lot of these after that, so we'll just have to keep tabs on that.
Yeah, there's a financial consequence if we don't do it timely, so it is
Yeah.
important.
Okay. So, all right. Moving on to the Ward Sewer project. As you guys had decided that you weren't going to accept the SDR or the DR9 HDPE pipe, we then moved on to say they needed to install the HDPE DR11 pipe because it was the incorrect inside diameter. And that was accepted and by the contractor, JMF Underground. As a result of that, they then submitted some shop drawings to us for the new pipe, or the original pipe that was originally approved. But what happened, we were saying, why did we even need to look at shop drawings again? It was because that supplier who had provided that information originally can no longer provide that pipe. So he had to go to a different supplier, and it just had to resubmit the information. So trying to expedite this as quickly as we could, we reviewed the information that was submitted online. It was fine, and so we approved it. But however, we still haven't had the contractor show up on site. We still haven't gotten a schedule of when they'll be there to reinstall the HDPE pipe as through directional drilling. And on top of that, I had gotten a phone call from Sarah Rigglesworth from DEP. She had talked to me. Then she said, would I be available to talk to Jay Patel and her both later in the afternoon. She followed up with another phone call. We talked. I told them of the situation and the status of where the project was. And I kind of turned the tables on them. I said, well, they're under a consent order to connect to this, right? And she said, yes. I said, so what are you people going to do about this?
Oh my God, nothing, sit around and yak.
And they really took no position or, gave any type of direction that they were going to take any action. So, I mean, she keeps calling me, but then I said, well, what are you going to do about this? And I got no real response. So I think I followed that up in an email to you folks all, just try to give you an idea of what was going on. But again, I don't see any pressure being applied to them from the DEP to take action. So it might be springtime before this is all put in. And then I think yeah. And then I got talking to Karen, and Karen says they still haven't picked up, I guess, some permits from the authority and from the township, and they still haven't paid all the fees either. So I don't know. I would think the fees need to be addressed. So, okay.
He paid the tapping fee as agreed to with the authority. I think he hasn't paid fees down at this end.
Oh, okay. I thought there were still some fees outstanding on the authority.
There are tapping fees, but that was one of those deals that once he sold it, he was going to start paying in January 1st. He's going to start paying
well,
that.
yeah, maybe.
I don't know that he owes us any other money except
Okay,
for
well, I
tapping.
understood that there was still some.
Yeah, but Helen said there's fees down there.
Okay, so I stand corrected then. But anyway, so that's what's going on there. And I suggested DEP people talk to you, and I don't know that you ever received a call from them. So at the time of our conversation, I said, well, I think you should talk to the solicitor. He could fill you in on more specific information and where they are, from a standpoint of if there needs to be any legal action that needs to be taken. So I suggested that, and evidently they didn't follow through. So I just think it's just somebody pushing paper from one desk to the other. The other item is the Curlin sewer project, where on October 21st we were informed that there was work going on at the site, and they were installing the low-pressure sewer system. And again, we weren't notified by either the owner or the contractor and I don't think the authority was notified either, that the construction activity was going to occur. So there was no effort on the contractor or the owner of the property to notify the engineer or the owner that it was going to commence. So as a result of that, we found that out. I talked to Rob Schaefer at Act One and Associates, because they prepared the plan. And I think through some emails we were told to say cease and desist until something can be worked out. And I told Mr. Schaefer that, and he said he was going to call the owner.
And that didn't happen either.
Well, and I never heard anything about it, so I figured it didn't happen. So again, I was told he would get in touch with them, and again, somebody didn't follow through. So anyway, as of last Friday, the 30th, I was on site after I think I got an email from Sam, and we spoke Thursday night. I went up just to see what I could see and hear. The trenches were open to a certain extent, and I could see the sewer lateral from the building into the grinder pump, and from the grinder pump they had the piping connected into where they did the horizontal boring. I couldn't see where they came up at the other end, but then I think they never did. Is that right?
They came up.
Well, I talked, is it Norm, from Norm's Tire?
Right in front of Norm's.
Yeah, well, he told me that this is the location that he thought they ended, but it didn't look like there was that much of a patchwork in there.
Do you look at the drawings for that low pressure system that we have here? The end of line flush station is where they came up, in front of Norm's.
Yeah, that's that's where he showed me, but it looked like it was there for some period, and he says, yeah, that was maybe.
They did a heck of a job by hitting. They hit a hole that was that big around.
Yeah.
That they brought the pipe up.
And that's, I didn't see any thing to really substantiate that.
Nothing else disturbed.
Yeah.
They just come up in that hole.
And he told me it was done probably in August sometime, because whatever I saw, it was covered up with silt, and it looked like, you know, it whatever was there for some time. So, but I took his word for it, and evidently, you know, you talked to Norm as well. So, because he saw me out there poking around, and he came out to greet me. So,
Wasn't Norm, was it? Or was it?
I think he didn't introduce himself, but he says he was looking to purchase the next property over,
That would've been Norm.
and I figured it was Norm. So anyway, my biggest concern from what I saw was I couldn't substantiate that they poured a concrete ballast on the grinder pump.
It's there.
So getting back in the office, I sent Brian, because I didn't have a shovel with me because I was kicking around the stones and it just kept falling back in. So I had Brian Lee's come up with a shovel on Monday and dig down, and he says he couldn't get down deep enough without it keep falling him back in. So he couldn't actually substantiate it.
Hole's full of water now.
Yeah, and so Sam said he talked to Gary Lanker and Gary,
Kim.
or Kim Lanker, okay. Yeah, Gary's the tree guy, I think, yeah. And he said that he did put in the concrete ballast, and that was our biggest concern, and I thought everything else looked okay. And I think through the testing, through the Pannoni, who's the UCC guys, they came out and found that there was a leak in the gravity line to the pump station. So I don't know if they fixed that or not, but coming up through tonight, I couldn't see if it was still open or not.
The trench is still on.
Is it? Because it was so, yeah.
It was this afternoon.
Yeah.
The trench is still on.
So anyway, with all that being said, we're still kind of, every time one of these projects goes to construction, we're always kind of left out of the loop. So based upon Henry's direction, we put together.
Before we go on.
Go ahead.
Can I bring you up to date with the last 2 days at Burns?
Yeah.
All right, I got called by Tim Lanker the other day, and he asked me to come down and check things out for me, and to make sure everything was safe. And it was, and that's whenever I sent it down to you.
Yeah.
And yesterday I got a call. They wanted me to stop by because the UCC inspector, Pannoni's engineer, was there trying to do an air pressure test on them. And they were having problems with it, and then they fixed that. But now, Pannoni is, well, the UCC guy, I shouldn't say Pannoni, the UCC, it requires for the inspector to see the grinder pump in use, see all the alarms work and everything work as designed before they'll sign off on it.
Okay.
Now, since it's not connected at the other end,
Yeah.
I could not very well do that. They asked if I could be their go-between, per se. And once Lanker got it connected down at the other end, if I could witness them filling it up, making sure the alarms worked and everything, and get back to them and tell them it was okay, I told them I wouldn't have a problem doing that. But I don't know when Lanker's planning on doing that, so.
Yeah. Well, if you need us to be up here too, if you're, let us know.
I don't have a problem with it, but I'll
Okay,
tell you what,
all
when
right.
they call me, I'll call you.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Or call Brian, because I'm going to be out of the office next week if that happens.
All right, I'll call the office and they can set somebody up.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
but that's pretty much as to where we are now. And just a point of interest, are you guys buying any 4-inch PVC sewer drain pipe from Lowe's? Don't try to put an air pressure test on it. Oh, yeah?
is that what they use?
Yeah, it's, they got a PVC, and then they got like a foam liner, and then they got another case of PVC on it.
Oh.
And whenever you put the glue on it, it sort of melts the outside or the inside piece of PVC, and the air gets into that foam, and you can't hold a test on it. I shouldn't say it's foam, it's a softer material.
Right.
It won't hold air. So keep it in mind if you're going to use it. Go ahead with your.
Okay. Here, I'm just making it.
So Carlin's almost done that, the grinder pump needs to be hooked up. Is that what you mean by hooking up at the other end?
No, grinder pump and everything is all hooked up. We need to make the connection to the main.
Okay.
The final connection.
And that's what
to the main.
Lenker's going to do?
Yes, well, Lenker's the one that installed the grinder pump to begin with and everything. And he's doing the gravity feed up at the building. Now, I don't know who did the boring.
Right.
All right, but Lenker's he's gonna have to dig that up down there and make the final connection.
Yeah, it hasn't been connected to where they need to connect at the other end. And that's kind of what I was looking for, but
Yeah, well,
yeah, and it was never done.
Okay.
no, whoever did that left it just open to the. And if we'd have put water in it and turned it on, it would have been Old Faithful down in Norms.
Okay. So anyway, with that being said, we were asked, I think, through Henry to develop a checklist. And what I did was I put together our own checklist, and talking to Susan, I guess there was one done in 2008. I compared the two. They're similar but different. And you know, this is more specifically for the construction of the project. Some of these things were more for maybe like plan review and things like that, and items of that. But there are some similarities and overlap. But this is for like a utility project, and I forwarded it to everybody. Did everybody get a copy? And I Sam had gotten, and I asked him to give a comment before I forwarded, just to give it, you know, a once gone over before I submitted it to everybody else. So I think one of the things I did add, and I meant to add it originally, was on item 14, I put maintenance bond in there. Just that we want to have that in that it's going to be, we want to do the flushing and testing and dedication if that's required, and also a maintenance bond if it's required. So, you know, I got here's another copy.
That's okay.
So, with that revision in it.
Oh, okay.
So, but here we go through this. We're saying utility checklist. We're asking for the developer owner name, developer owner address, the phone number, the email address, the development name if it's like a big subdivision plan, and the address for the service or, you know, services. We wanted to make sure the escrow's in item number 1. The escrow's in place. So what we would do is I'd ask the authority, like Karen or yourself or whoever, to put in when these dates come in, because you're probably going to be, you know, and we'll fill in where we can too. But what we're looking at is when we get a plan that we have escrow in place for plan review and then subsequently for construction, as if it goes to that point. Then we actually have the plan review and approval. Then we have any reservation fees or connection fees that need to be paid, that they're been paid, not that we overlook that. Then if there's a financial security or bonding required, it needs to be submitted and approved. And then we get into the shop drawings and submittals, that they were submitted and approved. So, I mean, this is going to be an ongoing process, but we would then need to put in a date where we feel that all the submittals and drawings were submitted and approved, then we can go forward from that point. Then we're going to request a project schedule be submitted for the project. And then also the contractor needs to be aware that he needs the specifications for either the water or the sewer for the construction activity and have them in hand on the site. So we want to just say date completed, but when they were notified that they have them. Then what we want to do is we want to have contractor owner notification of the authority at the start of construction, and then get an actual start date. So they'll say like in 2 weeks, but in 2 weeks it's going to be November 18th. Okay? So then everybody's on the same page. Not only do we want him to notify the authority, but we want him to notify us as well. Because they'll say, well, we notified the authority, So what I'm thinking is what we do is we give whoever comes in one of these lists as well. So they know what the requirements are. Okay? Then what we have is then notification of construction completion, including disinfection if it's the water system and any necessary testing. And then that's to be the authority and the engineer, items 10 and 11. Then item 12, owner notification to the authority when the utilities are placed in service. That's going to be an actual date, so you'll know when you can start billing them. And then eventually we're going to need project record drawings that are submitted and approved. So that goes to completion, not that we don't have that. And then again, flushing and testing. This is more of an item for like subdivision plans because you might do those in phases. So they'll have to do flushing and testing and dedicate certain portions to the authority as it goes along. So, and do a maintenance bond, as required. So some of the things here that I noted, single asterisk items or contractor owner notification shall occur a minimum 3 working days prior to the start of actual construction. Working days shall not include Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. Authority requires inspection of the project construction activity. Failure to provide adequate notification may result in construction work not being accepted by the authority. That's again another reason why they should have this. So it puts them on notice. And then the double asterisk is actual date utilities placed in service is effective date where the utility lines or lines is or are being utilized and billing starts. So he's going to know that that he's going to start receiving bills for whether it's sewer or water. So again, when the guy comes in, he should get a copy. He should be responsible to give it to his contractor. We'll keep a copy in our file. You guys keep it, and then we can compare notes and say, hey, you need to amend this. That way there shouldn't be any more, well, we didn't know, or we talked to the authority, or we talked to the engineer. That way it's going to be able to be documented and to some degree, we'll just have to keep on top of it. So, I think that's is there any comments, any room for revision or updates? Are you okay? Maybe this is a work in progress too. We'll figure out, we need to add something else or we need to reword something, because I tried to look at it as a standpoint of how, if I was a developer, owner, contractor, how would I look at this and how would this be very specific and there's no room for interpretation. So
would that be used in conjunction with the one from 08?
Well, like I said, the one from 08, there's areas of overlap, but this is, I think, more, like they have the regulations in there. But then when we talk about sewer capacity letter, this is more from a land development subdivision plan review standpoint, and then how many EDUs you have as far as, what some of the costs are. It says here, developer shall prepare a preliminary subdivision plan or land development plan where applicable and submit to the planning commission. We really don't, we don't get into that. And then, details. So.
Well, we can just go with this new one and see how it all shakes out. And,
yeah.
Revise it if necessary as you go.
Exactly.
I think it'll be an excellent tool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because for them to get to this, they would have had to pretty much comply with this from the standpoint, if it's a subdivision land development plan. So, but if you feel the need to make comment or revisions, just let me know and we can do that. And I got a 10/23/2015 date on here where we would just revise it accordingly and put a new date on there and make the revisions and go forward. Yep.
Okay.
So that's all I have. Anything else?
Anything for Randy?
Do we need a motion for that adoption of that procedure?
I don't think it would hurt to get something in the record that it was a procedure that we adopted. We don't need to, make it fancy, just, we're gonna approve it as,
Okay.
as prepared as submitted.
I hadn't heard back from Henry. I don't know whether
Oh,
he.
you think we should wait till?
Well, I know. I know from Sam and you guys. I didn't know if Henry had any issues with
I
it or
don't know
not.
whether he saw it yet or not.
Okay.
We can do it at the JOAC.
Well, we can all. Yeah. Okay. All right. Just let me know, and then you have the more recurrent. So.
Yes, I do.
And that's all I made.
Right. That's
That's what I was getting at. Is he kind of requested that we do that, and I didn't want to exclude him.
I'd ask you to review the last inspection report by DEP on the Sunshine Hill.
Okay.
Now, as far as broken blow-off lines and stuff like that, I'll have that taken care of. There's a blow-off line that's cracked, that in case of overpressure inside that bunker, it goes to the outside, I'll take care of that. But issues with,
The
or
well-
problems with
The wellhead being down in a pit.
and the
Yeah,
pit and
yeah.
this things,
Yeah.
they're going to be just the way they were when she came in March.
Yeah, I know.
And what I wish you would do is tell the authority what she thought was a good idea and what she said had to be done.
So review the
And
report
on-
and then evaluate the report and make recommendations.
What I'm going to say to the authority is a lot of what she had to say about the well pit number 2 would have been good if you do this. That doesn't mean you have to,
Right.
okay?
Does that mean, you're talking about, extending the casing above the ground kind of
Right.
stuff?
Those kinds
All
of
that
things,
stuff.
and at
You
the
say
time-
that was something that should be done, but not
Yeah.
necessary?
If
And
I-
that's what I'm asking Randy to interpret.
And I
Because,
think
you know,
what-
DEP will say you should,
Yeah,
well, don't let somebody turn that into you must.
yes, I
Because
understand.
how that must is gonna cost us a hell of a lot of money.
It will.
And,
Yeah, that-
and the blocks, she didn't like the blocks around,
Mhm.
they weren't sealed up right. Well, okay, so
Well,
I didn't think about this a whole lot because I thought it was gonna go away.
Right.
But I'm not saying, in my interpretation, these didn't have to be done.
no, you reviewed
It was something that she felt ought to be done or could be done. And I don't think it has to be done, so I'm gonna ask, since there's been this contention about this whole thing, ask Randy to try to help you determine what she said had to be done and what you feel you can stand behind, Randy.
Okay. Well, whatever we have to do is going to cost some money.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
so,
think,
you
I
know.
don't, in my opinion, none of it has to be done.
I kind of remember, I thought there was some verbiage in there that it was a little stronger than their I mean, I'll have to look at it again.
Let's, we need
Yeah.
to know, because there's changes over there and,
But that well, to make that above grade and we put a pitless adapter unit, that could run into some money. Those pitless adapter units are fairly expensive. But that was incorporated in the overall project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we need to decide whether it's must or should.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
$500,
That's
No,
right.
no, it's thousands of dollars for this.
because we don't have thousands.
I know, but that's,
Stick around for my report later.
all right.
That's why I jumped in before Randy left to ask
Yeah.
him to help interpret. But I don't think, in my opinion, a lot of it did not come to me as that we had to do it. I thought we said we would do it in the course of the project. The project didn't take place.
Well, let's make sure we've already had a bad experience.
Well, that's why I'm asking Randy.
Yeah,
what
no,
that said.
I understand, and that's a good idea.
We'll wait till he gets back to
Yeah.
us with that. Anything else for Randy? All right, you can stick around or you can.
Well, I guess I'm supposed to stick around to the.
All right, Dina Morris,
All right.
operators report.
All right,
Have
so
you
they're
kept-
there.
You
If
too.
you have any questions,
Be
ask
careful,
me.
boy. Thanks. See y'all.
Take care, man.
Hey, have a good Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. You think it's like June or something, huh?
Wow, great.
All right, good night.
Good night.
If you don't have any questions on the generals, I have comments.
If not, we've already talked about this position. So is there anything else we need to move on that? I don't think so. Field operators report.
No, I have some stuff I want to talk
Oh,
about.
you do? Okay, go ahead.
I'll be leaving over $6,000 on the table when I leave. It'll be close to $6,500. I'm not doing that out of any sense of guilt. Because I don't feel guilty about any way I'm leaving. Except some little jobs that I wish I had gotten completed that weren't. I feel that I wanted to try to help make this a better change. Okay, so this is why I'm doing that. You'll see a bill in tonight's billing for $5,400. That's for September's work.
For
September's work.
September, okay.
There won't be a bill for October's work, and there won't be a bill for November's work unless they go long past a couple of days next week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, I wanted to state that fact and say why I was doing it. It's not because I feel guilty about anything. It's because I wanted to try to ease the transition for the authority. I know that it's not going to be a cheap operation. That's all. Continue to work with everybody here and these guys as much as possible. And I'll be back next month. That's all. You'll see some jobs coming up. We have failures at King Ford on a motor and a motor that was pulled because it failed. I'm having them both repaired by Jody Hoffman. Rather than, it was much cheaper than sending them out to Heim. And if we have both motors repaired, we have a backup. But there's going to be needs for, as we've talked about many times, upgrades to King Core's blower system. But Jody's going to fix the one that's currently in use in Fanlin that I've been nursing along, and he's going to fix a one we have there that's an old one. We found out what the problem was. He's going to fix that. Those are two items that are going to be coming up. You'll be getting bills for it. Don't hesitate to ask me in the future what this is about. And he's also going to be doing some repairs to the electrical control panel on the new plant at Cove. I ordered the parts quite some time ago and never got them installed. Controllers on one of the little submersible pumps. He's going to install those. Those are part of the stuff that I'm saying I should have gotten done, or these new people are going to bring somebody else in to do that. They're not going to do the electrical repairs like I did. That's okay. That's, I was satisfied with doing that. These fellows are probably not going to do that. That's all going to be covered under the money I'm leaving on the table, I think. That's all.
Okay.
And you're welcome to ask me as we go down the road. I don't feel that these guys are going to take you for a ride. But anytime you don't understand something, okay?
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Ed. Sam? Field operator report.
All right, I got two things here that I noted here on mine. Right in the middle, it says, I was called by Duncannon regarding a missing manhole lid and ring at number 2 metering station. That's the one at Clark and High Street. I have no idea how in the world that manhole lid got out of there, where the ring itself, the little riser ring, where that disappeared to, but it's gone. All right, that's the bad news. The good news is it don't belong to us.
I saw the cones there and
Yeah.
the what's this and
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
no, I shouldn't say that, I shouldn't have said it that way. A few years ago, at the JOAC meetings, Kevin, what was his name? The Glace engineer, Kevin,
Yeah.
I know his name, I can remember.
It's okay, we probably wouldn't know him anyway.
But at any rate, he had a request that the municipal authority turn the number 2 meter and number 3 meter over to Duncannon because they were on the Duncannon system. And we did. Now, that manhole is the one that services number 2 meter. So that, in my opinion, that goes back to Duncannon. That may come up in our JOAC meeting regarding that, as to whose responsibility that is. But it's still, in my opinion, it's a Duncannon meter, it's a Duncannon system.
No, we dropped the insurance on them.
Yes, yeah. And now, how that manhole got out of there, how they got out of there, I don't know. They found it, so they didn't steal it for scrap. But I don't know, but they didn't find a ring. Maybe they stole a ring for scrap. I don't know.
I can fill you in a little bit more on that. I got a call one night and Sam wasn't available about that from Paul Liddick in the borough. And he said that they went up and put the manhole back in, the ring and the manhole back in place, that they were out. I went up a week later and the thing was, the horse was up there, the barrier, the cones, the ring was leaning against the cones.
I saw that.
Yeah, I saw it land on the street.
Okay. Now, what happened to the ring and stuff like that, I don't know, I just wanted to let you know. The ring was there for a while, after they put the cones up, because it was leaning against that white.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
thing.
I don't know what you call them, but anyhow. That's all.
And the other thing that I wanted to bring up here is I took it upon myself, not so much as the field inspector, but as an authority member, to call Bill Siegel from Cedar Cog. I also called Brenda Benner regarding the forfeiture of the first 2 grants from Sunshine Hill. Brenda didn't have too much to say, but she forwarded it to Bill Siegel, and Bill Siegel called me, and I called him back. It went on we played phone tag for about a week and a half. But at any rate, bottom line on that, I asked him why we lost the first 2 grants along with the $750,000. The grant that Cedar Cog requested us to put in, requested us to apply for.
Before we even got involved with Flops Apartments or anything.
Right. We got the first 2 grants through Tri-County. Cedar Cog got involved. They're the ones that came in and said, hey, there's a lot more money out there, let's apply for this competitive grant. Whenever we apply for the competitive grant, you know the whole story, we got denied that, okay? Yeah. He said that whenever our application was looked at through CDBG during the $75,000 deal, that they said our application stated that it was for fire protection and to provide support for, I think it was 7 or 8 fire hydrants. And because we said we needed to provide support for that meant that we needed to upgrade our water system. Therefore, it was a veiled request on our part to upgrade our water system, so they denied us. Alright, so that's where we are. And once again, I told them that I wasn't very happy with the outcome. But, anytime somebody takes $200,000 from you, you're not going to be happy. But anyway, that's what it is, that's what the thing was. They said pretty much that the CDBG people said that we were doing like smoke and mirrors to get the first grants approved. And that's what that's all about. But other than that, I got nothing else.
Mrs. Benner, isn't she a secretary to CDBG?
Ms. Benner?
Yeah.
I don't know. No idea.
It's on her political
No idea.
thing. that
No
she-
idea.
So,
But at any rate, that's where it is and that's what's going on.
Interesting.
huh?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I can find that yet or not. It's in my
Yeah,
recycle.
but anyway, that's where we are, that's where we stand.
Okay.
Other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay, Sam.
In
Anything
the master meter reports, there's nothing out of the ordinary on those either.
for- Okay. Thank you. Nothing from Penn Township? Henry's not here. He told me last night he was been trying to get there regularly, but he didn't say anything of any significance, so.
Yeah, he was there and really wasn't anything. There's some confusion by one of the supervisors that thought we were still proceeding with the Sunshine Hill water project, but
Yeah.
I think he cleared that up.
I want to come back to that down the road. Dennis, you're up.
Not much for tonight. The sheriff's sales were held
Tell me we didn't buy any.
last week. The only one that was left on was number 907 on the list. And the process that I have to follow when there's a mortgage on the property, which was the case here, is we have to see if somebody bids enough to pay any outstanding real estate taxes in the authority's claim. If somebody bids that much, then it's theirs essentially, and they would take it subject to any mortgage balance. Unfortunately, no one bid. So what that means is I have to ask the common pleas court to allow us to put it on the sale list for January and to sell it free and clear of liens and encumbrances, including the mortgage. So I have to notify, of course, the mortgage company again that this property, this time, we're proposing that the court approve to be sold free and clear of their lien, which forces them, obviously, to do something. They either have to oppose that or they have to pay the authority's claim or do something. So that's the process we're going to be following on 907. 1159 is on already for the January sale at the request of the mortgage holder. And I'm reasonably confident that that will go in January because the mortgage company got approval from the bankruptcy court to proceed with the foreclosure sale. So I'll keep an eye on that, and I'm going to be pulling together and re-look at these and talk again to Karen, and there will probably be a few that I'll be suggesting we do for also for the January sale. Our deadline to list for that is will be coming up probably within the next, I have to look at the next few weeks. So anything that we can get in for that, I will get scheduled. I can't think of anything else. Some of the other people we had on, of course, paid the amount they needed to get it off the sale list. They may end up going right back on again for other liens, but unfortunately, the process is cumbersome.
The bankruptcy for the Dimers
Yeah,
and their
that is-
payment plan.
Well, there's a new plan that is subject to court approval, and I think it's coming up, I'm not sure exactly when, but very soon, that the court will be acting on their revised reorganization plan. So I'm going to take a look at that and let you know what I think about proceeding with that. they still weren't making payments, and they're supposed to be doing that too. Communicated our concern about that with their attorney. But yeah, I think we need to, I'll report on that next week.
Okay.
You need to look at that, they are nearly half our delinquents.
Yep.
It's a lot of money.
Anything else for Dennis?
Yeah, question, and maybe this was discussed and it just totally went over my head. What have we heard, what are we doing about Mr. Harvath with the water issues?
Oh. Well, let me think. He wanted us to provide or reimburse him for some kind of filtration system. I think when I wrote to him, I suggested he would have to address that request to the board, or did I say that?
Yeah, you said to the board of directors, but you mean supervisors? Or?
No, I mean, I think he tried, he may have tried with the supervisors.
He wasn't at the meeting, right?
Well, okay. Probably it makes sense for me to just, why don't we just treat it as though he's making a formal request, and then I'll give him an answer. I don't think you've ever done that before, and I can't see why you would.
Yeah, a lot of people up there doing the same thing.
You'd be providing it for everybody.
You're damn right.
Mm-hmm. And I thought at one point I saw somewhere that he was asked to come to the meeting.
I think I suggested that, or someone did.
Yeah, you know, I thought in an email you did.
Yeah.
You've never reimbursed anybody before, have you?
No.
With his water, was there any reason?
Well, you know, the sad fact is that we're having more complaints up there, and I think I think it has a lot to do with that floor log. The water's sitting a lot longer. The additive, what do we call it, the polyphosphates? Sequestering agents are just not, they're sitting so long that they're just becoming ineffective. And now the manganese and iron are coming out in the lines, and we're getting more complaints.
I was going to hold off on this until later on in the meeting, but I think I'll do it right now while we're talking about it. I've done a lot of soul searching on this, and one of the main reasons why I've come on this board and even working so hard the last couple of years was to improve the water conditions and everything for Sunshine Hill. Now with the grant money's being jerked out from underneath us, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that. So I'm going to put a suggestion or a motion out on for just float this bomb. I think we ought to divest ourselves of the water company. Put it up. We had it up for sale a couple of years ago, and we took it back off the market because we couldn't see, we didn't get what we thought we could for it. I'd like to see us put it back out on the market again, and we can evaluate our position, whether we want to stay in the water business with Petersburg Commons, or what we want to do with those customers if we want to divest the water system entirely. So that's what I would like to do. I would like to place our Sunshine Hill Water Company up for sale. See if we can get any takers out there to hopefully to improve the water service up there. It's not right. It is not right for us to sit back and charge people and give them water. I can show you pictures of the water. It looks like Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah.
You guys live up there, you know what it's like, but it is not right. And Ed and I are getting phone calls every week from different people up there complaining because the water is dirty. I had one today, changed the water meter for one today, and the woman asked me, she said, what do I do? She says, when I get in the shower, she said, sometimes I turn it on, and the water's dirtier than I am. What do I do? With that said, once again, I'm gonna suggest that we put our water system up for sale. Float the balloon out there and see whether we can get any offers on what they would pay us for it.
Along that line of something I said I'd come back to later, but maybe now's a good time, because in talking to Henry last night, we talked a little bit about this, not per se putting it up for sale, but what, the fact that we lost $1 million, and people are asking questions. They're asking you two more than they're asking us. And I get people asking me too on occasion. And I suggested to Henry that we hold a public meeting to the people up there. And just lay it on the line exactly what happened, because some people know the whole story, some people
Most don't know what's happening.
Yeah, and they don't. And, well, we're supposed to have a big tower, full of water up here, and we don't have it, and what's going on, and.
I think that's a good suggestion,
And I think that along with what you said, Sam, maybe that's not a bad arena to float that question. Would they be interested in it? Because darn well, the rates will go up.
Well, the last time we went through this, United Water was the only one that was interested, and I had some discussions with them. They didn't commit to improving the water system at all. They did not. The last time we got into this with them, they would have taken it over. They weren't giving us any money for it, no money, and they would not make a commitment to improve the water. So what the hell, what good selling the water to United Water?
Gets us off the hook, sir. Well, I don't want.
It doesn't improve my water.
Absolutely, it does not do anything for you, but it does for this municipal authority. It takes DEP off our back.
Well,
I offer, if you have the meeting to sell it, you also consider changing the ordinance to allow individual wells. Now, the people are going to have a choice. They spend $3,000 or $4,000 to drill a well or whatever it is, or maybe they want to have their rates go up high enough to do something about it.
Yeah, that's an idea too.
I'm just putting it out for consideration.
And that's, you can take all this, what we just said, and put it together and present it to the people. They've got to know that they're sitting on a time bomb.
Well, my concern right now is, they're complaining to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to take too much time for them to start writing their letters to Harrisburg and your friends at DEP. And once that happens, where's that put this municipal authority?
Well, the trouble is, iron and manganese aren't covered by their damn regulations at all.
No, but that black water is.
That's not. If it was arsenic or this or that or coliforms or this, but there's no standards for iron and manganese. So
I was very disappointed.
it's our problem to resolve, not DEP's. We got to decide. With the and I agree. These people have to know, and they should be involved with what drilling a well sounds great, but you know what? That doesn't guarantee everybody's going to get water when they drill a well.
No, I'm just.
And not only that, it's the same damn water. It's the same water source, so you're going to have iron and manganese anyway. So it's like, sure, okay, it gets it off everybody's back, but it really doesn't solve the water problem.
Okay, let's chew on that a little bit. We can discuss.
Let me ask, we started with Mr. Harbath. Is there any reason his water would be worse than anybody else's?
Well, I tell you what, some people have filters on their system. They change the system, then they have that water. The filters does its job. Then they have this black water in the thing, and which it should be, and they're wondering why. I mean,
Yes, Dennis, there is.
Some properties are worse than others.
He's on the main line.
There's a very long line comes down over the hill, right to his house. Then the other three houses go up over the hill from his house So everything that comes down and settles at his place does not go up over the hill to the other places. It settles out at his house. He's got perfect storm in his house.
And there's other homes up there that are in the same situation too.
Dead ends.
Well, I mean, I think we should respond to his, I think we should just treat it as he's made the request for you to reimburse him for the cost, and we, you know, you can say yea or nay. And I think if you say you will, you can pretty much plan on reimbursing for
A lot of people.
a lot of systems. Maybe you could differentiate, maybe there'd be some arguments to be made that you would reimburse in some circumstances and not others, but you know, that's gonna be
That's
a murky area, so,
yeah.
I mean, I think we should respond. You tell me what you want me to say, and I'll say it.
The perfect condition for Mr. Harbat is possibly some condition that removes him from the system. The authority could offer to, or not to, participate in a private well.
Well, if we're gonna get down that road, then we have.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have to put 81 of them on.
That's right.
Well, I mean, before I put a system on his house,
Right.
I
okay,
remove him
yes.
as a customer.
Well, and that may be his next request, you know,
Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. Let
Yeah,
him loose as a customer, just,
Yeah,
okay.
rather than be involved with systems on everybody's house, if you put something or do something for him, just ask him
Right.
to consider not being a customer anymore. And you allow him not to connect. By rules and regs right now, he must be connected.
So you have to make a revision there. Do you wanna revisit this when Henry's?
Yeah, I think we need to chew on this a little bit.
I mean, it's not an emergency,
No.
I wanna respond to it at some point though.
Yeah.
I really wish, I thought when we found this heavy-duty flushing and what we were getting out of the pipes, we were gaining on it. It seems like it's gotten worse since then. I have no idea whether we've gotten into a flow that's higher in iron and manganese, or it's simply the floor log, or a combination thereof. But individual wells will not give you these black slugs like
Right.
they're getting now. They'll still have the iron and manganese in it. Elmer's right, but because it's going right through their place, they won't be seeing and/or complaining about it. Now, I looked at all the options of what's coming up next door, if that comes up next door, but once again, you can't, I don't know whether you can drag it on until something happens over there.
Your concern is you think it may be the four-log pipe, maybe we're not pushing it through there fast enough and it's settling out. Suppose we would flush that every month. That four-log system, up there at the fire hydrant. What do you think?
I don't know. Ed's got a better feel for that than I do. I think the four log's part of the problem, I really do.
I do too, but today's call was from 9 Princeton, which is just a couple doors down from you.
Yeah. Well, they were changing the filters,
So,
so.
all right, so they weren't actually getting dirty water at their sink, they were just.
No,
Okay.
they changed the
Okay.
filter.
All right, I can understand that part. Now, help me out, the sequestering agent would still continue to work out of the four-log system and still lay in the existing infrastructure until it comes out in your house, right?
Yeah.
So it still works, and it would still be settling out in the bottom of those lines. That's why we get all the rusty water and the dirty water in those lines. Okay.
It's possible, it might be possible that we could develop individual treatments that we could recommend for each, that might, take care of this, some kind of a filtration system. that might be cheaper than either doing away with drilling wells or no this and that. I mean, it's possible we could, there are certain things that would take out manganese and iron, you know, more efficiently than some other things.
So,
But I'm not sure exactly which.
we may be able to, I'm just thinking now, we may be able to go out at the end of, say out there by where that fire hydrant is, that we flush at. We may be able to open a 4-log system there and put a filtration, some kind
Well, I don't
of
know.
filtration on there to take that dirty water out of there.
That's a
before we put it-
possibility. I don't know.
before we
I
put it
mean,
back
I
into
don't
the
know.
system.
It's worth investigating.
I'm not doubting that, I'm not saying it's not, and it'd probably come up a heck of a lot cheaper than buying a whole new system too.
The new operator.
I think we ought to look at every damn option we can think of before we go drill. Because I've seen situations where people drill, you know, have gotten in these situations.
Yeah. I think.
Some people get water and then, gee whiz, somebody else
Yeah,
doesn't
they
get
don't.
water.
There's no
Then what the hell do you
There's
do?
no guarantees you're gonna get water once you start drilling underground. Another thing, if we do have a town meeting, so to speak, we wanna also inform those folks that it's not necessarily all our fault why we lost the money.
Right.
They were part of that. If they were the ones that declined
we
to
wanna
to
lay it
provide
all-
the system and everything,
I think we ought to have a meeting, invite everybody and lay it all out.
you know, I mean, we ask them for their help.
We've been trying, but
Majority, you know,
Folks have
what we missed that by? What was our
What
number?
was it, 1.2?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking number of surveys that we had out there.
Oh,
that-
I don't know.
That was not a whole hell of a lot, I know that. But go ahead.
Do we have copies of that in the office, do we not, Sue, of the surveys?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At some point, we might want to pull those and take a look at them and see.
But even
what
at
the hell-
that goes, if we do that, we wanna make sure we go back to them and say, hey, if we get these numbers, can we,
Reapply or,
not so much reapply, can we have the money that we had before?
yeah, yeah,
well, it might not be there now.
It may not be there, absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
okay. All right.
The
Well,
new water license holder is a man that's in that business. He may have better ideas.
Well, that's true too, yeah.
Ask, take advantage of, he may say if you flush once a month, of course, that's no easy project up there when we've been through the reason why. There's not enough storage to flush properly.
you mean these guys here?
Yeah,
These guys might have some ideas for us.
Not them, but the fellow that holds the water license that works for Culligan.
and the guy, he's
He
never
may
been-
have suggestions
Oh, all right,
Yeah, he's never.
that we haven't seen.
yeah, okay. Well,
All right,
I think we need to chew on this and do, I mean, and then I think we're gonna have to have a public meeting and say, look, this is where we're at. But I think we need, well, I think it's a good suggestion, maybe that, there are other options that we haven't thought of, I think. But maybe putting treatment at certain places or even
Well, the man's in the water business. He
individual
may
housing.
know.
Huh?
The man's in the water business.
Yeah.
He works for Culligan.
Right.
He absolutely should have some more exposure than we've had, any of us.
All right, well,
all
yeah,
right, let's chew on this.
let's chew on it.
I'm just gonna hold off then on doing anything until we discuss that.
We could just tell the guy, we're looking at some options to see what we can do about the situation or something like that.
The other thing I wanted to mention is that, when Mr. Ward, I have a lien, that I think I already mailed up to the proprietary to file for the regular service charges. Get us up to date on
Okay, Susan.
All right, you've looked at delinquent accounts for Karen. The bills are 86,000. The highest one there is your third quarter shared plant expenses for 25,000. That's in the packet there, the inch thick thing. That would be all the repairs that were done the second quarter, no, third quarter, I guess, to the plant. And I don't go to the JOAC meeting, so I trust that you guys look through that spreadsheet and say, yep, these are kosher.
question on that.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon my children. The backup operator, is he going to remain?
No,
Okay,
he leaves.
okay.
They have a backup operator.
Well, that's sort of what I thought.
Yeah, they have a backup operator, so, yeah, John goes.
Thank you. I'll make a motion that the orders be drawn, the bills be paid.
Second.
On that note, John is not giving up his October pay, so Susan will be issuing a check to him.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So be it.
Financial report.
Yep.
You have $254,000. You have 158,000 of it that's earmarked. And so you have 96,000 left. This month I had to transfer 13,000 from capital reserve to pay your operating expenses. I know we've talked about how this year we spent a lot of money out with Market Street, and we've spent a lot of money out of capital reserve, but you're also using capital reserve to pay your operating expenses. I don't see, if you were to borrow money, I don't know. I don't even know where you get the money to pay the payment that was due every month on a loan.
Well, with those transfers, just to cover expenses, that was done 3 different times.
Well,
That's
January, April, May, July, and October, yeah.
That's $62,137.69
Yeah,
that we borrowed from Peter to pay Paul.
yeah.
That's not a good direction to be heading.
No, it is not. And if they continue to, and I know that that plant down there needs work done. I think this is
Which
about
plant's that?
the Duncannon plant.
Oh,
So we got the bill for 25,000, but we've also got 2 other bills this year over 20,000. So in addition to your regular quarterly budget for them, you know, that's,
So do we get a breakdown on what we're paying, or do we just get a bill for $25,000 and
oh no, it's right in that great big fat thing in there.
That big paper clip.
No, in the-
No, that one.
In
yeah.
there, there's a thing with a great big huge fat paper clip. That's
That's
the,
on the check, okay.
that's, yeah, the very, underneath the check is the spreadsheet that she gave. A 2-page spreadsheet that itemizes it, and then there's all the copies of all the invoices.
Hey, Elmer, when he's done with that, you can start stamping those checks.
Good check. Oh, here?
Oh,
Yeah.
how much are Duncannon's sewer rates?
41 a month. That's what I pay. It's based on water usage, but, you know, 41 is the minimum. With that in mind, I put at the end of the packet, it is not on the agenda, some proposals for rate increases. Just how much
For what?
for water and sewer, how much
Water and
$1,
sewer?
how much $5 will bring in, it's not, you know.
Motion to approve financial support subject to audit.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the financial reports of the audit. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So be it. Secretary's report. Anything there to?
No, not that I'm aware of. There was something she was going to draw up and we just didn't get around to it, so we'll do that next month.
JOAC meetings on Monday, 6:30 in Cannon.
I may not be at that one.
Bless you. Okay. Incoming, outgoing correspondence. It's there for the taking periodical, same thing, old business, plan operator position. I think we've pretty much covered that. Smith property septic tank abatement.
That's when there just as the tickler, so that eventually we know that we have to get that septic tank abandoned. So that's just a,
We had a new owner, we'll put some
yeah.
pressure there.
Super. Wavering of penalties.
That we're putting off till next time.
Next time. Okay. Budget. Under new business.
I have the 2016 budget I worked on. I put in $80,000 for the operator under Henry's suggestion when he called me last Friday. Now I see that they are coming in at around 44, but we know that there's going to be extra costs.
Oh, yeah.
So theoretically, we could cut that back, but I don't know how much you'd want to cut it back.
I would include the field reps. What we're budgeting for that to be.
Yeah, because I didn't put anything
in with
in.
that as well, you know, into that 80,000.
Yeah, because I didn't put anything for field rep because, well, I did put, no, that's not true. I did put field rep, the totals added up to 3,800 because I.
Well, you got the field rep and then there's,
But, so.
Karen's gonna be doing the meter reading for residentials, but you got the other meters and stuff too.
Well, she's been doing.
The flow meters and all that other stuff, but I've been charging time too, that's gonna be doing it.
Yeah, but she's not doing flow meters.
She's not, you didn't hear a word I said.
No, I didn't because I
said
can't.
that you need to include in with the wastewater treatment operators monies, the $80,000.
Right, that's what yes, that's what I said.
My field rep goes in there, and the time that I charge for the flow meters and stuff goes in there as well.
Yes, I did hear what you said.
Okay.
You and I are in agreement, so the 80,000 shall stand.
And he also mentioned that to me last night when we were talking about this, so.
This could be discussed further on Monday night also.
And that was another suggestion. That, you know, if you want to be there, bring it along.
Yeah.
Anything else on the budget at the moment? Okay, unconnected properties.
All right, that's just something else that was something that Bill Hill had brought up to me a month or so ago. There's a list there, a spreadsheet of, I don't know, 10 properties. These are folks that all paid their tap fee many years ago, and the properties were never developed, or in the case of the third one down, Mr. Dobrinoff, where the Forers used car lot was, it was disconnected. And at some point the authority needs to decide whether or not they're going to consider these properties disconnected, in which case then they pay a new tap fee. In the past, it was always the tap fee went with the property. But the engineer is suggesting, Mr. Hill's suggesting that that's not probably the way we should be doing it. So I just went through the people who have paid tap fees that I'm aware of, that there has not been anything done.
So that means they don't even pay a reservation of capacity?
No, we weren't charging that because the ruling had come down there from Dennis thinking that, well, the tap fee was paid, that is a reservation of capacity. So we stopped charging them for reservation of capacity. Now Bill Hill says it doesn't matter. If you decide and send them a letter and say, by such and such a date, if nothing happens, we're going to consider this property disconnected. it's up to them whether or not they want to do reservation of capacity. That's just to save their own skins for the future. But in the future, when they want to do something, they have to pay the tap fee.
Tappy again.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question. Are any of these, should they be connecting? I mean, are these
No.
all vacant lots or properties that we know aren't being used, et cetera, et cetera?
These are all properties that, except I don't know what the deal is with the Shim property or the Hillbeach property at 6 Burley. I know they moved a house. But no, as far as I know, like John Edkins is a concrete building sitting across from
Yeah.
Dino's.
Okay, so it isn't like any of these just haven't connected and should.
No, these are people that just paid the
Right.
tap fee and never did anything with they paid the tap fee because when the sewer went through, they were given the option to pay then.
Here?
No, Hillbeach, because he owns 2 lots there, one across the street from the other.
You
Is
clear the
this,
house down. That's the one that you clear the house down.
so this is where the garage is?
That's where Boyers used to live, remember that? Boyers used to live in that one house there that they tore down.
Where Marion Burley used to live?
Oh, yeah. Andy Boyer, right across the street from Hillbeach here.
You got Campbell's and you got Hillbeach's going up the hill.
Where's this?
Burley
Riley
Road.
Road.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. They
Is there a garage in there now? Did they put a
He
garage?
put,
Yeah,
Mary
they put
Hillbeach,
a
yeah, the
garage,
Hillbeach
yeah.
boy put a garage in. Is that the property that we're talking about?
I would have to go back to the original
There was a
connection
grinder pump
permit.
there.
And it's still there.
It's still there.
Well, the grinder pump is not there, but the wet well is.
Okay, so that's what I thought. So this one really doesn't really count.
There's
Because,
still a tap there for it though.
what?
There would still be a tap there for it if it still has the wet well, so all you have to do is put the pump in it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so it would be, it could be included in your, if you were telling the people this is considered a disconnected property, and if they ever want to connect it, they'll have to repay Basically, that's the way
There's a couple
it
other ones there that I don't think they were on your list that I can think of.
is. Who?
Right now, it's where the lawnmower guy used to own the property down
At the
on,
chapel?
Yeah.
down on the other
Oh,
side.
the
Down
trailer
on-
one.
Yeah, the trailer down over the hill. I don't know what the number is, but
Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah,
He had that trailer run down in Perdix.
Yeah, but it was never connected.
no.
But is
So
there,
It's
So a
vacant-
tap fee, but a tap fee was never paid. This is just the ones that I
was
know.
it not paid?
No, because he didn't pay for the one at the chapel either.
Part of what's concerning me.
I have a bigger list of unconnected properties that were never tap fees weren't paid.
All right, speaking of the chapel, now that that's under new ownership, what's the deal there?
Well, that I don't know.
Is that connected?
No, it was no, that was, there's not even a grinder pump on there. He wouldn't let anybody in.
No, wait, there is a
Well-
grinder pump.
Oh, is there one now?
There is a grinder pump wet well. The grinder pump is removed.
Okay.
But I'm saying now that that's under new ownership,
I have no idea.
I do know.
I didn't know
That's
that.
under,
The pullover water.
exactly.
What are they gonna do with it?
I'm not sure what he does in there, but
Is it occupied?
he doesn't live there, but I don't know what he does do there. But there again, there's another case of, just like an apartment, somebody moves in, we don't know it. I
Okay.
think that ought to be checked. And there used to be restroom facilities there, so I don't want to hear this, there's no bathroom, we're not going through that again.
Okay, and the trailer that you're talking about, okay. I don't think there was a tap fee paid for the trailer. I'll check my
And
notes.
there's another piece of property down, what's the name of that, down by that junkyard? Mr. Alphabet lives in there. The guy with every letter in the alphabet's in his name. I can't think of what his name is.
Mr. Alphabet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a grinder pump, wet well, in the ground down there, but remember when you're gonna pull that one out? It's down at the end, the very end of
Of the dirt road.
Fairhouse Road. Right at the very
They're
end.
back in the weeds.
It turns up, you remember,
Oh,
it turn up
yeah,
to Browns?
Yeah. at.
Yeah, it was
Right
one that
there
was
on that turn.
put in that was never, shouldn't have ever
Should
been
have
put in.
never been put in, but it's there and it's on a vacant lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll sign it.
but I don't know that, okay. Anyway, these are the ones that I know that tap fees were paid for.
One
If
thing
what-
that concerns me about these is I don't independently at this point remember what these people were told when they paid the tap fees, or why they paid them if they weren't going to be using the system. If they were told, well, you better, it's in your interest to pay the tap fee to secure your capacity in the plant for
We
your
have
property.
there are agreements
If
for
people
these.
were told that, I don't know how you can all of a sudden declare it disconnected. That worries me, so I
Okay.
guess I have some, well, I'm not sure where we're headed with this anyway, I guess it's just.
That's why I brought it up, was because the engineer
Yeah.
suggested it, and then we got to thinking about Mr. Morrison, who
Because they
bought 10
right.
EDUs and
Yeah.
has 10 years to use them. And so now we've
Because-
got people who,
Right.
paid
See,
it,
we
like
had-
Dino's.
Right, you bought we had a different system than way back then too. They could pay a reservation and capacity fee, or they could pay a tapping fee. If they paid a reservation and capacity fee for a certain period of years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it ended up that they had a tapping fee.
No,
You don't think so?
no, I don't think so. But I
But
don't.
they had the option to do one or the other, and they chose to just get it done and get my spot in the plant.
I know they could pay for a lateral at the time.
If you remember right, Dennis, they could pay the tapping fee. If they didn't do that, and the time came later on, they had to buy the grinder pump and pay a tapping fee. But if they paid the tapping fee then, they got it for $2,600, didn't have to buy a grinder pump.
It was cheap.
Here's the-
The grinder pump
okay.
was part of
These
the
are
deal.
some of the duplicates from.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of remember something about that.
It's pretty much all the same.
Properties have run.
The
Yes,
project
it was given to them back in
in
2004.
Curtis
Like this is.
was different than what we did before the first
I can't
time.
imagine.
Because the grinder pump was part of the
Do you
tapping fee.
just email me with one of these letters? They're all pretty much the same.
Yeah, the letters are all the
Okay.
same, everybody got one, and then they
And
signed
I
it.
think they actually got
paid
a
their
tapping
money,
fee,
like
but
Sam's-
they paid it
Yeah,
before.
no,
John
just
had
shoot me
to-
anyone as a.
Yeah, early, yeah, they saved,
I think I have the.
There's
I think you're right, Ed, because we were part of that.
yeah, I don't know, maybe they saved $1,000.
Yeah,
Early
there
discount,
was some
early
reduction
tapping
in-
fee.
Yeah,
Yes.
you had a certain amount of time.
Yes.
Well, and you've also had that money too. You've had that money for what, 10
Not
plus
anymore,
years
you know.
or something? Well, what I'm concerned about is that we want to be fair, okay? And if you weren't looking to do anything on this tonight, I think, I'd like to think about it and look at the correspondence that we had with these folks, and then maybe we can all.
Here you go.
think about it a little bit.
This one's a duplicate for Sam Smith.
Okay, I can keep this.
Yes, you can take
I
it.
do.
Talk to Russ McIntosh.
Well, that's right, Russ would remember, yeah, he was an integral part
Yes,
of
he
that
was.
whole process at that time.
But yes, they did have a
Because
discount period.
He developed the reservation and capacity system that we were using then, and I really do think it may have changed since then, I'm not sure. But yeah, we were gently persuading people to pay a tapping fee, because it was really kind of a win-win for the authority at the time, and it was probably in their best interest. So if we're gonna now say, well, you've now lost the benefit of that, we probably at a minimum would maybe want to write to them as a courtesy and say, you have X
Yes.
period of time, that if you're gonna develop this property, you better do it, because this isn't gonna be worth anything to you.
But your
pretty
time
soon.
is running out.
Yeah, and We all just need to think about it. We weren't looking to.
No, I brought it up because Bill Hill mentioned to me that he questioned it when I asked him about, it was for the Chapter 94 report, I had questions.
Right.
And then he found out that what we were doing, and he said, wait a minute, they're not gonna pay when it's been, anyway, so.
But we don't have anything in our rates rules, I don't think, we don't have anything that says a tapping fee or a what do they call it, connection permit has a particular life, right? In other words, if a connection, these people probably got a connection, no, maybe they didn't
They
get
got,
it.
no, they just paid a topping fee, they didn't get the connection permit. Connection permit's only good for 180 days or something.
And then the additional thing in 2005.
All right.
right.
20
years to pay their tapping.
Payment agreement for Norm's Tire and Auto regarding the grinder pump repairs.
Yeah, did she put that in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I don't
saw it
know.
somewhere.
Oh, it must be in the folder.
Yeah, it is, it was in the folder there. Yeah, he wants to pay three installments to get to the, to his final, whatever, $4,000 or something that cost him that, right? That's another thing that I don't think, that should have come to this municipal authority. We should not have been involved with that one at all. All right, that is a commercial pump. We do not deal with commercial pumps any longer. That should have been through Norm and Jody Huffman, the guy that was working on that. Municipal authority should not have been the middleman on those. And I'm going to suggest that we do not become the middleman on any more of them.
Jody's comment to me was that he had told the man when he got the call that he needed $1,800 up front, and the man said he didn't have the money, and Jody said he knew it was a business, so to keep him going, he put 2 pumps in the ground. 2 spare ones, 2,
Then
repaired
he
ones.
rebuilt the other ones.
And then he rebuilt the other ones. I'm not an authority member, I have a different take on it. We're hiring Mr. Lenker to do a service for us. And in the case where somebody can't pay, we have a better recourse of getting the money from him than he would. I could see where
I doubt that, no, because he can file the same paperwork at what we can file to get a mechanic's lien on them.
I think it's complicated. I think it's tough to ask Jody to finance the repairs to our system, which is what we're doing.
No, sir, we're not. We're asking, the contract, the commercial operator is asking Jody to finance his repair, not the municipal authority. The municipal authority does not own those grinder pumps, does not own that wet well.
I guess what I'm saying is, if Jody doesn't do it and people don't pay, it doesn't get fixed. So where do we stand at the outcome of that?
That's the commercial property owner's problem. He's out of business. If he doesn't have the septic system in there, he's out of business.
Okay, that's the tack you want to take then.
That's just my thoughts. I mean, there's other members of this authority here, but I don't think the municipal authority needs to get drawn into that. You saw our budget.
I'm kind of at a loss as to what, I don't know who Jody is to begin with.
Jody Huffman is the guy that works with Kim Lanker.
That's who's fixing the grinder pumps now.
Okay. And he's financing something?
No, we are. He's
Same.
using us. This bill with Norm, Jody went down to do the job. All right, he put 2 pumps in there, and instead of billing Norm, he billed us. Should have billed Norm.
Yeah.
Should not have billed us, in my opinion. Should not have billed us.
Jim, here's the story of the reason the conflict comes up. Our customer, or the people on our system are calling Jody direct, which is what we have been doing.
Right.
They don't have the money to pay him. Now, he can either not fix it, which is what I think he should do until they have the money.
Yeah.
So we're going to I think what you need to do is direct him to come right up front and say, do you have the money to pay me? If the answer is no, I'm not coming out. And then, that way, I said Jody financing it, meaning in other words, he does the job but waits to get paid, then he's sort of on the hook for the money.
Yeah.
So, you have to direct him not to repair anything that the people can't afford to pay for.
We shouldn't even be talking about this. This is between the homeowner and the repair.
I guess what you need to do is, you need to tell the fellow that we have doing the job, or that is doing the job instead of us,
Right.
don't take on any jobs they don't have the money to pay for.
Right.
Isn't that simple?
You deal directly with the customer, don't get us involved.
Right.
That's what Sam's saying, and I can go on with that.
Yeah.
As long as we tell him, don't even do the job until he has the money up front.
Like going to the grocery
Or
store,
it's
getting a
equal.
cart of groceries and going to the checkout, and they ring it up for $85, and you say, oh, I don't have $85.
Yeah, send the bill to Jim.
Yeah, send the bill to,
So Sam's right in that respect, but we need to direct Jody not to
Right.
even go out on a call until people say they have the money.
Unless he's willing to.
Unless he wants to.
Or just tell him not to bill the authority.
Yeah, just.
That's
No
easy.
doubt, Bill.
and that would settle it.
For the, especially the commercial ones. Bill the business, don't
Right.
bill us.
Right.
Yeah, don't bill us.
Don't bill us, bill the
That'll
business.
solve it, don't bill us.
Yes.
You know, now, the reason I say that is because there's some confusion with the residentials. All right? Cece and I live side by side. She goes in on the project, I come in later on, and I had a vacant lot, and I built a house and put a grinder pump on. Municipal authority owns her grinder pump, Sam Ox owns his.
Right.
All right, there's where the problem is, to differentiate between the two. I can understand any contractor having an issue with who owns residential pumps.
But that contractor ought to have a list of who owns it and who doesn't.
Well, it does, but it's confusing sometimes. But for a commercial pump, there's no doubt in my mind who owns commercial pumps.
Right.
Business.
Every commercial pump that's out there is owned by the business.
Then that's a no-brainer.
Right, and Jody knew that. It's just that the man said he didn't have the money to get, Jody wants 1,800, and Jody said to keep him business, I did this. So,
Okay.
all right, so in the future, look,
You look at his bill, it's considerably more than $1,800. He rebuilt 2 grinder pumps.
yes.
All right, that got it up to over 4,000.
Norm called and said he understands he has to pay the bill. He said that it's from the people who were next door that came and used his bathroom, because there were also tampons and things in the, but anyway. I will call Jody, I will relay him all of that. In the meantime, can we let this gentleman pay the 3 installments? It's either
There's
that
not
or,
much you can do.
Yeah.
Now, we have already paid this bill to Jody, as far as I know.
it's in there, it's in the
Yes,
package.
it's in there, that's what I said, we have already paid this bill to Jody, so no, let me make a motion that we accept Norm's proposal for, 3
Yeah.
installments to satisfy, I don't know what the number that is on that bill.
Yeah.
On what basis? Monthly basis?
His 3 installments on a monthly basis.
I think that's.
It's his agreement,
Right, I can see that.
his agreement.
Okay.
However,
Okay.
as a codicil on that, I would suggest that we notify Mr. Lanker and Mr. Huffman that all commercial grinder pumps are owned by the businesses and should not be billed to the municipal authority in the
Okay.
future.
I will call them and tell them that.
Okay, that's the motion on the floor.
All one motion together?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Make a motion that we reappoint Jim Coker for another term.
Second.
Until then.
That's 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that have to come through the
Yeah, it's a
supervisor?
recommendation, but.
That's a
This board
recommendation,
to
that's
the
a recommendation that we
supervisor.
submit Jim Coker's name for another term on the municipal authority to the Penn Township Board of Supervisors.
And somebody, Susan, will you or Karen?
Karen will send a letter to, to them, and then they can act on it in September. And- Or, yeah, January. They do it at their reorganization meeting.
But, you know, there's a new supervisor going on from up on the hill. I don't know if that's gonna make any difference or not, but,
Is that where he lives?
yeah, he lives right down the street
It's
from
right
me.
across the street from him.
Right, yeah.
Nobody seems to know anything about him.
I don't know
He's
much
been
about him
to
either.
4 township meetings, never says a word, doesn't sign in, nothing. So it'll be interesting.
Understanding what he was.
Gee, his wife talks the leg off of him.
Yeah. He's a retired police officer.
Yeah, he's a retired.
Oh, okay, there's been a motion on the floor and seconded. Any further discussion?
Good.
Oh, I think you're fine.
You did second it.
Yes,
Yes,
I
you
did
did
second it,
second.
I got lost in
All
all.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Yeah, you ain't allowed to say that.
that.
Ain't allowed to say that.
Okay, anything else for the good of the order?
Motion to adjourn.
You got it. You're up.
Second.
So be it.
Thank you
Done.
all. Short meeting.
Sure.
Shorter than some.
Shut that off.